It initially came out in print through Dark Horse.
And I have that hardcover. That's
yeah,
what
that
I have.
hardcover.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're an OG high
Because I'm a
man,
fucking real one.
Yeah, dude.
Buzz babies.
And the book that we're going to talk about today is The Sin, your new book. It's weird because I keep wanting to say like the closing to your trilogy, but it's three totally, everything's different. It's a trilogy, but it's not a trilogy, you know, like it's a trio of works.
Well, so yeah. So the first book was Count, which was my sci-fi take on the Count of Monte Cristo. Right. And I actually introduced the character of Sin in that book. So
no, you didn't.
Yeah. So this is like a soft sequel to Count in the sense that like, it's not like you don't have to read Count to read this. Like, I mean, clearly you read both and didn't
just
know
not good enough.
Right? Yeah. Well, but it was like, 2 years ago, whatever, right?
He was saying that. He's like, Blake, you read the books, you appreciate it. I'm like, what? This character was
no, but this is actually great because that's the point. I don't want people to like be like, oh, I didn't read the first one, I can't read this. Like,
now I got to go back. You know, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to go back and read it and find it. And be like,
that was the point, right? I wanted to enrich that experience, but also like give people I mean, the plan was to have that character move forward the whole time, right? And I just didn't have the space in the first book to leave it open-ended the way I wanted to. So this one essentially just kind of picks up after that, but it's like it's one character in the same world, but in a dusty corner of it. This one is essentially a Western in the world of Count, right? So, but yeah, Retroactive was my second book, and that one is like James Bond meets Groundhog Day. So that's a totally separate thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a trilogy in the sense, you're right. Like, not that they're all connected necessarily, but just like, they were all done under the umbrella of my exclusive contract that I had with Humanoids. So.
And the two trades, they look different, but they're kind of structured. This, like they have like different cover art and different logos and stuff, but they just like their name placement and stuff. Like I thought they did a good job with that. I'm assuming the third will be done like that as well. But it's just like, so it's cool because it's this huge chunk of your career. I can't imagine like the total amount of time that these three. Because these are like three almost like basically like 6-issue graphic, not 6-7 issue graphic novels,
what
just
they are,
told, in one go. That you've released like almost pretty much yearly, right? Yeah, or
for the most part, yeah. Like they've been done yearly, but the way that the releases kind of fall, like they end up being like
publishers always fucking shit up. I'm just kidding. Well, like Humanoids is cool. I'm joking.
Humanoids is amazing. Like I always, I mean, it sounds like I'm drinking Kool-Aid, but there really are like a fantastic.
No, you did you sang their praises hard last time. Like you were so stoked about like I'm
doing another book with them right now.
I was gonna ask, I didn't know like because I was like like so your contract's up. Like how do we segue into that? So they're obviously they're happy, want to keep you around. I'd want to keep you around if you were pumping out these jams at Metal Ninja Studios or something. I'd be like, Joel, we got whatever we got to do, man. Like,
thank you, man. Yeah, no,
the contracts just don't even.
We were both super happy to keep the train rolling.
Oh yeah,
like, yeah. I mean, I think they know I'm reliable at this point, and like, they were super supportive. I mentioned I had a really rough year when I was making this book, and they were super supportive and understanding of everything I had going on, and like I'm super fortunate to work with them, and like, they're a small but mighty outfit, I think, and like you said, the books have a similar like, trade presentation. Like they put out really nice quality stuff. Yes. Like,
their trades and hardcovers are all beautiful.
They do like nice embossing on
big oversized stuff. Because some of it's like these European guys, they print bigger.
Shows up. But you can, well, my background is too, but there's a nice spot gloss all over the book and stuff. And
they're very, and they do the, what are they called? The French gatefold covers. They're like, they like wrap, it's like a trade dust jacket, but not thing. I like them. I like them. I've always liked them. I don't know why. It's like an almost hardcover, it's like, it's that little extra touch of
fanciness. A little bit thicker. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So great, really beautiful books. And then of course, like Ibrahim's art, I think speaks for itself. But like, if you haven't If you haven't checked that out, well, you need to correct that. And like I said, luckily there's these two awesome books and a new one you can pre-order. I am going to do this because I always forget. I always forget to. We talk about the books and I talk about how great it is, and no one ever says what the book's about. And I was mentioning it
Yeah.
the other day, and they're
Oh,
like,
good point.
they're like,
And
Blake, you're
actually, this would
really
be a
good
good.
at your job, but
Hello, I'm comic book artist and writer Ibrahim Moustafa, and I'm very proud to present you with the trailer for my new graphic novel, Sin, published by Humanoids. I invite you to order your copy now from your favorite local comic book shop, bookstore, Amazon, or wherever books are sold. Please enjoy. It's about this woman who was uh, essentially like a cyborg government enforcer for this like fascist dictatorship, right? And that was seed was planted in Count. That's like, the sort of bad guy that imprisons the main character wrongfully, right? She's like his enforcer, like the silent killer, right? She doesn't speak, she doesn't eat, she doesn't sleep, she just kills, right? And so at the end of Count, like her circumstances change, and so now she's autonomous and like has her wits about her, and she feels terrible about all the lives she's taken. So she's just trying to disappear to this dusty corner of the world where nobody knows who she is, right? But she's having these like system failures because her shit got messed up,
Mhm.
right? Like in Count, and so um, this guy who rescues stray dogs in this little town that they live in is called because he has experience with machinery, and he finds her basically like shut down in an alley. And so he takes her back to his ranch with his adopted daughters and their rescue dogs, and he starts trying to like repair her. And she kind of wakes up and is like, what the hell's going on, like, Terminator mode or whatever. And she eventually becomes like, part of the family. And she tells the guy like, I want, he's like, what do you want for yourself? And she's like, I want to lead a life of peace, like I've killed so many people and I couldn't help it, and I want to correct that. And he's like, well, just living a life of peace isn't enough, like who do you want to be? And so she kind of decides that she wants to save a life for everyone that she's taken. And she knows how many because her robot
Mhm.
brain has them stored. And so well, I shouldn't say robot brain, she's a human who's been augmented, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, well,
Heavily, heavily augmented though,
right,
like big time.
exactly. So he's like, well, you can start here with us, like I need help, like I can't do all this by myself, we're constantly finding these animals. And so she takes up with them and starts helping out and becomes part of the family. And then one day they're in town, in the little Western looking town, and some ne'er-do-wells arrive, and there's some stuff from the past that kind of comes up, and she has to, go back to her violent ways to protect these people that she loves now. And so it's kind of about her trying to find that balance of not losing the ground she's gained and not going back to who she was, but using who she is and what she can do for good now. So it's very much the classic Western style story of like stranger comes to town with a mysterious past, and they have to kind of defend the good people against the bad guys who come rolling into town. So
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you know what I really dug about that, and I already knew we were in a good spot because it doesn't start like violent and heavy and with heavy action. It is a cool world. The art's cool. The characters, these situations, like these quick snippets of flashbacks, and then this family, right? The family and the dog, and it's just like this stuff that we get hit with early on is I'm like very interested to learn about, right? And I enjoy like learning about it and didn't realize like how many pages went by until like I noticed when the heavy action comes, like there's a good there's a good lull here. And I say lull just as like people aren't dying.
yeah.
Not like there's still tension, there's drama, there's emotion, there's interest. I was very intrigued by that structure. Because the second half of the book is so like you cut its fucking head off. Like literally,
Thanks, man.
lots of heads.
Yeah.
But like that, there a choice was made here,
Yeah.
and you are, in a sense, you are God, and because I mean, you are artist and writer here, so like you're your own, you're collaborating with yourself and your own
Right.
story. You're in control. So what made you decide that to like to kind of start slow, um and really, like, I mean, like it's like it's a slower start and then an intense, instantaneous buildup that rolls like a snowball down a mountain. If the mountain was a volcano and it's a giant boulder coated in lava, and as it rolls down the volcano, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the townspeople are just running from. That's what the second half of this book is.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, like I wanted it to, I wanted us to really believe that she was like a new person.
Okay.
She didn't have to, she hadn't hurt a fly since she arrived, right? Because that's the decision she made. That's who she was going to be. And, so we build up this sense of like normalcy and comfort, and like you said, there's still drama. There's still like, interesting interactions, but, um, when she has to unleash herself, like she goes like that's who she was trying to keep from being.
Mhm.
And it's like you woke up the beast, and I really wanted it to be like you hit a wall, like it's just like, oh shit, like.
The
And
wall hits you, okay?
yeah.
It
And
oh, keep going. Yeah,
well, I was gonna say like, and in that moment, so there's all this like buildup, right? And then there's this release of all that tension, and like it happened, like, it's through static images, but it happens like that. Like I wanted to show like there's specifically that one page where it's like all the people are coming at her, and it's just like three big panels with a bunch of little insets, right?
mhm.
And like I wanted to show that like this is happening within seconds. Like she can dismantle a group of like hardened fighters if she wants to, and that's who she's trying not to be, but they didn't give her a choice.
Yeah,
So
and you did it perfectly. Like I said, like that whole deal of like, because you think sometimes, is it like, is she gonna break, or will she break but in like non-lethal mode, right? Or she'll like set her arms to stun, right?
right.
But you can't set a sword to, well, I mean, she could hit it with the broadside of it, but she doesn't. That's, and I love that. I love that you went, I love that she broke. I love the intensity of it. I love why. I love that those around her weren't, didn't like turn her into a monster because of that. Like,
Right.
you know, like even the kids were like, you know, like we get it, you know, like
Yeah.
it's and I thought I just there it was so real. It's
Thank
so
you.
real in this setting that's so like sci-fi and unreal, but still like the family aspect and like what you do to protect your own, you know, what we do to just our dogs, even what we talked
Yeah.
about this, what we do to things we would do to protect our dogs, let alone like humans we're attached to or the you know the people our own rescuers, you know, like
Right.
when people save us, you know, like Ness, you know, that the cool part of the opening, you know, almost what 50 pages maybe. It's not the opening 50, the first 50 pages.
Yeah, I think the action starts like at page like 40,
Okay. But
somewhere
there's a lot of
in the
like
early 30s. Yeah.
rebuilding and those scenes where I like the tinkering scenes when he's working on her. And sometimes there's like cool dialogue and they have like cool moments and really great character building moments. And otherwise it's just like she kind of wakes up in the lab again and but he's there to comfort her and she feels like you did a really good job with that relationship and showing them evolve much like
Thanks,
a
man.
dog, like a rescued dog, right? Where it's just like
Yeah.
you know, there were a couple times where, you know, she woke up and didn't know where she was. You know, like it was like, oh, is she going to attack these people? You know, and it's just like the trust that she gains, mirroring that with the animals in the book, mirroring that with you know, the rescue dogs that we've been involved with, you know,
Yeah.
and I just there are so many things. I want to ask. You told me a long time ago, like I mean, the way before trail, like maybe you showed some pages, like you were still like in it. You know, I don't
Yeah.
even think a title had been announced yet, but you had said like posted some pages, and I was like, oh, I'm excited. And you showed it was one of the first ones you drew of a dog, like you showed like the dog of the book,
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I was like, oh my, and I saw her right, and I knew, and I was like, this is gonna be amazing. And you were like you're like, Blake, I think it might make you cry. And I was like, I knew. I was like, I bet it will too. But what I wanted to, I mean, I guess I can't think of it being I think I know what moment, but like, what did you think was going to make me cry when I read it in this book?
I think it was probably the bit where Ness is using the pit bull as like an example of, you know, like
Mm,
you're not bad. Like he's a good boy. But he was trained to
yeah.
be a fighter. Like, and you know, he was mistreated by people, and you know, and it's like a straight like analogy for her. And he's telling her like you're like him. Like
Hmm.
you can be good. You just like no one's fostered that, you know, for you. Um, but I could be wrong. That was just a part that I
That's
felt
the
very
first
strongly
part that
about.
got me. That's the first part that got me. What got me. That teared me up. That hit me. That was just like I was just like fuck Ibrahim gets it. You know, and I was, you know,
Well,
like
because like you're a pit bull dad too, you
yeah.
know. So like I figured that was something that would resonate with you, you
Yeah.
know.
And you know, yeah, the whole fighting deal and the whole like and it's still like they've put it to bed like that we know like their jaws don't lock, all these stupid things
Right.
that they talked about for so long and it's still there's still these stupid myths. But no, the part that got me and I've never seen an artist go like this in a comic before or in any kind of me like this really struck me. I see it in humans. So like when people draw humans, like big
Mhm.
emotions, like in the eyes, and when it's like when it, you know, like when you can like feel like love or fear, right? Like through a human gaze that's drawn on a page. I've seen that, and that's awe inspiring and it's so cool when you guys pull that off. I've never seen someone do that with a dog, dude. I fucking ugly cried when they find the dog bleeding in the alley and you zoom in on the eyes and the face and like that whole scene. That look, I've seen that look like so many. I've taken that look home. I've picked that look up in the
Yeah.
street and carried it home with me, literally twice, and now twice at a shelter too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, dude, that you did it like that. It was so real. It was like it was almost photorealistic, dude. It was insane.
Thanks, man.
Like the fights, the character designs, the world, the people. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. but that page is so intense and it's a dog. Like, yeah, it's like, what in the fuck?
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. That was yeah, like that's my girl, you know, that's the pup that we lost like right as I started to make this book.